Hey guys, so over the past month or so, we've seen a lot of movement in Sword and Shield. Astral Radiance sold out, came back in, sold out again. Brilliant Stars over here sold out on the Pokemon Center. Fusion Strike, that was a bit more than a month ago, but did sell out as well. Chilling Reign towards the end of last year also, but Lost Origin, the most recent big one to sell out. And as you can see, this thing is just going parabolic, basically moved from like 145. Well, let's see the start of the year. Start of the year was around 135, and now it's already over $200. So insane move. It sold out around 175. It's already pushing two now. And as you can see here, a sale yesterday for $220, $205, and 190. That's actually a bit low, but surprising. So over $200 box now. Brilliant Stars is most likely going to be there, within maybe a week or two. Maybe it'll be a bit slower than that, but I imagine this one will break 200 fairly fast. Astral Radiance, it seems like it might be a bit slower to get there, just with how much time it's had, still sitting around the 185 mark. But lots of move in these sets, and this is kind of the topic of today's video, is just where we're going to look to next to try and make our gains. So, Pokemon investing, there are downsides, and I saw a thread on the Reddit today or yesterday about some guy who posted like road to 100K, and he was showing his collection. And when you go into the comments, there are a lot of people that were kind of just bashing Pokemon investing and saying that when you try and sell and offload it, people are only going to want to pay you 60 to 70%, or you're going to have to sell things separately, and liquidating's hard and stuff. And I think there is a lot of reasoning behind that kind of like logic, where Pokemon investing is definitely not the best place to put your money. You can just put it into stocks, you click a button, you sell it for 100% of its value, other than $10 transaction fee or whatever it's going to be. You don't need space to store it. A tornado or a hurricane's not going to destroy your shit as well. So, there's lots of stuff that goes on where it doesn't make Pokemon investing ideal, and we need to be making more money than just the average return we'd get from like Bitcoin or a stock or anything like that, because we need to make it worth our time to store the product, to ship the product, just to sell, like communicating with buyers, stuff like that, to deal with potential returns, to deal with potential damage, just everything we need to factor it in. So most of the time we got to be looking for more, obviously, than a 10 to 12% gain a year. Now, some people are going to argue in the comments potentially, or argue about how liquid or illiquid Pokemon booster boxes are. I think you're not going to have too much of an issue selling most of these, especially the very popular sets like Lost Origin, like Chilling Reign, like an Evolving Skies, like a Fusion Strike, even Brilliant and Astral. You're going to be fairly easy to move these pretty close to market value for the most part. So, personally, me, I'm not worried, especially if you have an eBay store set up. I have a big one. I'm not going to scroll up any further because then you can see my eBay store name, but close to 800 feedback at this point. Really big store. For me, it's super easy to sell stuff. I already have credibility. Same thing with Facebook Marketplace. I have a pretty decent rating. Pretty solid profile on there as well. And that's really the first thing. If you are going to be selling a lot of your product online, that's what you want to do. Get going right away. Set up an eBay store, even if you're not going to use it for like 3, 4, 5 years. Like, build up some credibility. Super easy to do. The first thing you can do is just buy a few, very cheap things that are like a couple bucks. Like if you need, I don't know, you need some bags to send stuff off to Amazon FBA, you need some rubber bands, you need some tape, stuff like this, very cheap stuff. Even if you buy it, you're going to get seller feedback, especially if it's from a big store. And this will help your rating. Obviously, it won't be selling ratings, but do that, and then list some low dollar stuff where people don't need to invest too much money to buy from you. Do a really good job selling it, and then get rid of it. So, by the way, if anyone wants help with their eBay store, that's kind of like the purpose of my membership program on this channel. There's like a really low tier just to support the channel, and then like a higher one if you want to talk Pokemon investing or eBay investing, you can do that. But yeah, that's kind of just the first thing, right? Get your eBay store set up, and get ready to sell your stuff. But the point of the video, again, look for things that are going to be valuable in the future where we can see gains. Now, a lot of the Sword and Shield stuff's already made huge moves, and I don't know if we're going to see very large gains. Obviously, they're going to go up with time. They're going to do really well at Sword and Shield, but I think we've seen quite a large jump in a lot of these products to the point where now it's not too worth investing into these products at this point. So we got to look to the future. Maybe we should be looking at Paldea Evolved right now, or I don't know, Paradox Rift, which is now almost $100 box, which for the longest time, right, it came out in August last year and kind of just, bottomed out towards December around $90. We're back up, around 10-11% towards $100 at this point. You can still get these very cheap with TikTok deals, stuff like that. Scarlet and Violet base, same thing, came out in May. It's basically been a year at this point. So this is a set I'm actually considering buying a case of right now. I found a fairly good deal around $90 US, all in after tax and stuff, which up here in Canada is very good. I'm happy with that. So I might be picking up a case of Scarlet and Violet base. If I do, I will let you guys know. But again, the set's about a year old, between a year and 18 months. It's kind of where we want to be looking at sets, maybe even a bit earlier or later, depending on where we can find a deal. But and again, it's a base set, so it's not going to explode. It's not Evolving Skies or anything. But $90 a box, you have no limited downside. Set's getting older. Will it get reprinted? We don't know. I can't remember now. This had come out and come back into stock on the Pokemon Center a couple times. Someone let me know in the comments if it's still down, if it's still out of stock now, or if it's come back in a third time. Not too sure, but this might not get a reprint, right? Scarlet and Violet base. Obviously, you have like the Gardevoir in here, I believe, and then what else? You got like the Miriam and some other things. So, nothing too crazy, but $90 boxes, maybe that's a good deal. And then also, for you guys that like slabs, singles, stuff like that, maybe keep up with the TCG, right? So look at Groudon right now. If we look at this card, we'll go back 3 months. So yeah, you basically look at this, right? Came down, hit around $22, and now it's spiked up to $37, selling for $55 today. The reason this card is exploding, other than it, I'm not surprised that it's going up in price, outside of this reasoning, which is that it is becoming meta in the TCG. So Groudon apparently is now being used in some decks to counter Iron Hands, I believe, and stuff like that. You can go to PokeBeach. You can read the article on this and, find out why it's being used in the TCG now. It's becoming meta. So if a card's becoming meta, obviously it's going to be worth something. Same thing with Iron Hands from Paradox Rift. Just the regular like EX card or whatever it was up there over $20 or something. So if you keep up with the TCG, you know what's going on with the meta, you may be able to get ahead of most people that don't have this level of understanding. Pick up cards, say like the first couple days you see them being used in a TCG, groundbreaking meta, it's being exposed. If you really understand the game, you could potentially be buying down here at 22, 23 bucks. Month later, you're already up 50, 60%. So there's so many things we can do as investors to try and get our edge, whether that be having a really good eBay store, having a really good way to sell the product so we can liquidate fast, we can get as much money for it as possible, or it can be that we have a ton of knowledge about the TCG. We know which cards are about to pop off, so we can just absolutely load up on them, buy out like the whole market with fairly high level of confidence that those cards are going to do well. Maybe we just have a ton of money we can sit on. We can buy tons of Lost Origin, we can buy tons of Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign, etc., and just sit on it for years. Like if you have the storage capabilities, if you have the money to do that, again, like we need to find our edge, whatever it may be. And again, these can work for anyone, right? Like anyone can build up an eBay store. Anyone can do it, and you don't need a ton of money to do it. You just need to offer great customer service, right? Be responsive, ship properly with bubble wrap, boxes. Don't use bubble mailers for cards and stuff like that. Even if it's a slab, put it in a friggin' 6x4x2 box, whatever it may be, right? Something like that. Anyone can learn about the meta. Anyone can watch the TCG, learn how the game is played, what cards are being used, and obviously, not anyone can just buy out cases of Chilling Reign, Lost Origin, stuff like this. It's much more difficult. You need much more capital. But even if you have enough money for booster boxes, anyone can look ahead to the future and see what's going to pop off, right? Like if you bought Paldea Evolved at $90-ish, or you have TikTok deals, whatever it may be, you bought one at 70, 80 bucks. Yeah, I mean, even if you bought it at 90, right? You'd be up what, $20, so that's 22%, something like that over a couple months. Like that's very good, and considering that this may or may not get reprinted. You may even do much better this year. And again, stuff like Lost Origin, if you got into this, Chilling Reign, obviously these are a bit, you missed the boat on these if you haven't got into them already. But, just being able to see ahead, see what's going to happen, understanding the game, understanding the meta, and yeah, or even just, again, being the best at selling product, networking, stuff like that. There's so many different ways we can find our advantage. That's the point of this video, guys. You got to find your own advantage. You got to figure out what's coming in the future, and that's how we're going to get ahead in 2023. So I want you guys to let me know in the comments down below. I've made a couple of videos on this already. I did say that I think 151 is going to get reprinted. I wouldn't be surprised if Paldea Evolved gets reprinted. So those are kind of probably where I'm going to put my money towards the end of the year, if that happens. But you guys let me know what you think is going to happen. Are we going to see reprints of Base Set, of Paradox Rift? Are any of these, maybe Lost Origin gets reprinted, right? Like Lost Origin is still in rotation. It could very easily get reprinted. It wouldn't be surprising to me. It definitely would fall in line with what Pokemon does, especially when cards are still in rotation. They want to get them out to players for as cheap as possible. They don't want the Giratina V. Obviously, I mean, I don't even know if that card's playable, but the point is that, like, $400 or $500 cards, or even cards that are playable like the V-Star getting up to $30, $40, right? Like, it doesn't really make sense. So, Lost Origin very likely could get reprinted. Same thing with Silver Tempest, stuff like that again. So, we all just gotta figure out for ourselves what we think is gonna happen. But you guys can let me know in the comments down below what you think is gonna happen. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. The investment video I made, it's like over 4K views now. I think it's my second most popular video on the channel, which is insane for a couple days work. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you guys for using the affiliate links in the description. Again, it's at no extra cost to you. It helps out the channel. So you guys taking the time to click that button before you do your shopping just helps me out a ton. What else am I going to say? Thank you guys for commenting. Most of you guys, or pretty much all of you, leave positive comments or constructive comments. You're super respectful. So I hate using the word community, but you guys watching the videos and interacting are just really good people for the most part. It makes me want to continue doing this. As I said, I come from politics background, so that's much more hostile than Pokemon cards, even though a lot of people think that the Pokemon community is toxic. Get into the politic realm, and you'll see people online are much more angry about certain things than just some Pikachus and stuff like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I appreciate all the support. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.